When you receive your gurney, it will not come assembled. I will show you how to put the gurney together in a few simple steps. For hardware, you will need a 3/8 wrench, a screwdriver. An Allen wrench will be provided with the gurney. You will get 16 washers, 8 screws, and 8 nuts. Also, you will get an extra set just in case you lose a piece or two. We will begin with the side of the gurney that is marked C. Bring it up. Put the Allen wrench into the bolt on the knuckle and turn counterclockwise. Now, if you look here in the back, you will see where the bolt protrudes. Put your finger here and turn counterclockwise and stop when the bolt has reached flush, and then give it a little extra turn. Take the horizontal tube that is marked C, just like the C here, and insert it into the knuckle. And give it just a tiny, tiny turn, just to secure it. And then do the same thing on the other side. Opposite the letter C, you will find the letter H. Insert the tube and tighten it slightly. And then stand it up. Okay, so this is what you have done so far. Now we have to attach the right side. We are now attaching the other side of the pole, which happens to be D, just like the D here. Unscrew the bolt, put your finger in the back, stop when it becomes flush, give it an extra half a turn, and insert the tube. Tighten it just slightly so it doesn't move. Do the same thing on the other side, which is letter G. Now we have to line the colored bands with the edge of the knuckles. Push the tube to where the end of the knuckle meets the very edge of this red band. See how it's just aligned right here. And then do the same thing with this tube. Must. See how it's just barely touching and barely touching the edge. Now tighten it, but not too tight, because we're going to be making some changes along the way, just enough so it doesn't really go anywhere. And do the same thing on the other 3 sides, making sure that the letters are facing you. Now that you connected the 2 tubes to C, H, D, and G, we're back to C. Drop the bracket. If you notice, there's a hole here and there's a hole here. Align the 2 holes because you'll be putting in the screw. Now, the reason you didn't tighten this is because if for whatever reason you're not able to get this in smoothly, you will need to loosen this up a little bit. Okay, so let's get started. Take the nut off the screw. In here you have 2 washers. Take one off. Leave the other one on. Put the screw into the hole. And if we're lucky, we'll get it to the other side right away, which we did. So take the other, you put the washer on and follow it with the nut. Just finger tighten. Don't go any further because you may need to make changes. Do the same thing to all the other corners and then we'll come back. We are pretty much finished with the bottom half of the gurney except for a little bit of alignment. So let's work on the top half of the gurney. Here we have the letter F, which corresponds with the bracket F. You're going to have to, like on the bottom, unscrew this a little bit so you can insert the tube. And keep inserting it. Why? Because you have to push this into this knuckle. And do the same thing on the other side. Now that you have inserted both tubes on the top half of the gurney, bring up the bracket, insert the screw, tighten it in the back, and do the same thing with the rest of the knuckles. If you have trouble getting the screw in, you can loosen the knuckle a little bit and then slightly tighten it when you're done. This is what your assembled gurney looks like. But we're not quite done yet. Let's get a little closer. Looking at the gurney kitty corner, you will see where the gurney is right in line with the outer edge of this red band. And looking at the gurney from this angle, you will see where the knuckle is right in line with the outer edge of this red band. Now if we come this way, from this angle, looking at it from the bottom, you will see where the knuckle is right up barely against the edge of the internal red band, not the external like the other two are. What you do is get your Allen wrench and tighten the bolt slightly and align all 3 bands to the knuckle. You may need to untighten and tighten as you go along, but when you're done, tighten it well, not so strongly that you break the knuckle, but tight enough so it will not move when a heavy animal is put on the stretcher. Once you have aligned and tightened all 8 knuckles, next thing you do is get your 3/8 wrench, put it on the nut, take your screwdriver, and tighten the brackets on the bottom and on the top of the bracket. Do that to all 8 sides. You have now assembled your gurney. You tightened all the knuckles. You tightened up all of the brackets. You made sure that the knuckles were in line with the red band, and you made sure that the knuckles were right flush up against the caster, all the way down to the caster. You have also put on the stretcher, and now you're ready to test and see if you tighten the knuckles well enough. This is my version of an 86-pound dog. Each water bottle weighs 43 pounds. So if you have a dog that weighs more than, say, 80 pounds, you need to test it now. Put on a couple of water bottles plus any other items that you think will weigh as much as your most heavy dog. And if it holds up, you did a great job. And if not, you need to go back and retighten. Realign and retighten. If you have any questions, give us a call, and thank you very much for watching.